Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery, from legendary pennies to hidden gems. Imagine holding a simple dime in your hand, a piece so small that it often goes unnoticed, lost in couch cushions or dropped between car seats. Yet hidden in the folds of American history lies a version of the 1975 one dime that is anything but ordinary. A coin so rare and mysterious that it has become a holy grail for collectors, a seemingly everyday object transformed into a treasure worth an astonishing $155,000. The story begins in a transformative period in American history. The year 1975 was a time of change, reflection, and challenge. The United States was celebrating the upcoming bicentennial, preparing for the grand commemoration of 200 years of independence. Across the nation, excitement buzzed in the air. Yet, amidst all the patriotic celebrations, at the United States Mint, a quiet and curious event was unfolding, one that would go unnoticed for years but would later send shockwaves through the numismatic world. The Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946 to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, had become a staple of American coinage. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime featured Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse, a dignified and enduring tribute to the man who led the country through the Great Depression and much of World War II. On the reverse, a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch symbolized liberty, peace, and strength, values Roosevelt championed. Throughout the 1970s, dimes were struck by the millions, fueling America's booming economy. By 1975, the Mint was fully committed to producing circulating coinage while also preparing special designs for the upcoming bicentennial coins. The quarter, half dollar, and dollar would all bear the dual 1776 to 1976 dates and unique reverse designs. However, the dime, nickel, and cent would not feature bicentennial versions. They continued with their traditional designs, seemingly untouched by the historic celebrations, but fate had other plans. In the flurry of bicentennial preparations, something exceedingly rare happened. A small handful of 1975 dimes were struck without a mint mark. At the time, the Philadelphia Mint did not place mint marks on coins, while the Denver and San Francisco mints did. However, coins from San Francisco intended for proof sets bore a small S mint mark. Proof coins, struck with extra care and a mirror-like finish, were prized by collectors. Yet, a minuscule number of proof dimes intended for collectors left the San Francisco Mint missing their S mint marks. They looked like ordinary dimes, except they were anything but ordinary. These coins, missing their identifying S, became an anomaly, a freak occurrence that slipped through the rigorous quality controls of the San Francisco Mint. In the world of coin collecting, errors like this are pure gold. They are rare, sometimes unique, and they tell a story of imperfection amidst precision, a moment when human error created something extraordinary. The discovery of the No.S 1975 dime sent collectors into a frenzy. Only a few examples are known to exist, and each time one surfaces, it captures headlines and sets new records at auction. Holding one is like possessing a piece of hidden American history, a reminder that even in the most tightly controlled environments, the unexpected can happen. Collectors prize the No.S 1975 dime not just for its rarity but for the mystery it represents. How many more could be out there, tucked away in old proof sets, forgotten in attics or safety deposit boxes? Each unopened 1975 proof set became a treasure chest, and every collector dreamed of being the one to unearth another missing mint mark marvel. The design of the 1975 dime itself, while familiar, carries a quiet strength. Roosevelt's image, calm and resolute, reminds us of a leader who embodied courage during the nation's darkest hours. The reverse's torch and branches remain symbols of hope and resilience. In a way, the coin's accidental rarity adds another layer to its meaning, proof that perseverance and a keen eye can lead to extraordinary discovery. What truly elevates the 1975 No.S dime status is its certified condition. High-grade examples, especially those that have survived with pristine surfaces, are almost mythical. The best-known specimens exhibit deep, mirror-like fields and frosted devices, a contrast that only the best proof coins achieve. Each hair on Roosevelt's head, each flame on the torch, appears sharp and full of life, frozen in time by a masterful strike. Today, finding a 1975 no-S-proof dime is akin to finding a needle in a haystack, or perhaps a diamond among stones. Collectors scour estate sales, coin shows, and online auctions hoping for a glimpse of this legendary era. And when one does appear, the bidding wars are fierce. Prices have climbed steadily, reflecting both the coin's scarcity and its mythos, and so, we come to the incredible value this small coin now commands. A single 1975 no-S Roosevelt dime in gem-proof condition has been valued at an eye-popping $155,000. For a coin smaller than a thumbnail, that value is staggering. But it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the romance of history, and the magic of discovery that only a tiny, misstruck dime can offer. The thought that such a monumental treasure could be sitting quietly in an old proof set or forgotten drawer continues to inspire hopeful collectors. Every so often, a story surfaces, someone finding a rare coin among inherited belongings or while casually sorting through an old box. These stories ignite dreams, fueling the imaginations of anyone who's ever wondered if a piece of fortune might be hiding in plain sight. The 1975 no-S dime fits perfectly into this narrative. It's not just a coin, it's a story of missed details, of overlooked treasures, and the idea that great value often wears the disguise of the ordinary. Authentication is crucial when it comes to rare coins like the 1975 no-S proof dime. The coin collecting world is no stranger to counterfeits and tampering. Experts use a combination of careful magnification, surface analysis, and historical knowledge to certify these coins. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have become guardians of authenticity, assigning grades and protecting the value of these treasures. When a genuine no-S 1975 dime appears in their hands, it's treated like a piece of fine art, documented, encapsulated, and preserved for future generations. The coin's rarity extends beyond just the missing mint mark. The context of its creation adds to its allure. The San Francisco Mint was, and still is, renowned for producing proof coins of incredible quality. For a mint known for precision and pride in its craftsmanship to have an error like this slip by is almost unthinkable. That thin margin of human error reminds us that even in systems built for perfection, small, unplanned moments create the most fascinating stories. Collectors today know that patience and persistence are key. Those who search for the elusive 1975 no-S dime often spend years attending coin shows, examining thousands of proof sets, and consulting with dealers and historians. It's a pursuit that combines history, art, detective work, and a deep respect for the tangible pieces of the nation's past. And when one of these coins does surface, it reignites the passion across the community, drawing attention from seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. The emotional connection to coins like the 1975 no-S dime cannot be overstated. It's not just about financial gain, though the $155,000 valuation certainly turns heads. It's about the idea that coins tell stories. They pass through hands, through decades, carrying with them the memories of the times they were minted and the eras they survived. To hold a rare dime like this is to hold a silent witness to American history, a sliver of metal that outlasted presidencies, wars, and cultural revolutions, emerging nearly untouched, waiting for someone to recognize its significance. In today's digital world, where so much of our currency is invisible numbers on a screen, the allure of physical coins has only grown stronger. They represent permanence, something tangible in an increasingly intangible world. And rare coins like the 1975 no-S dime are the crown jewels of that world, scarce, valuable, and steeped in mystery. For those inspired to look, the best advice is to start simply. Check old proof sets, especially from 1975. Examine each dime carefully under a magnifying glass, looking for that telltale absence of the S mint mark. Compare it to known examples, and if there's even a hint of possibility, seek a professional opinion. The dream of finding such a coin is real, and history proves that it often rewards the persistent. In 1985, the world was alive with a sense of rapid change. Technology was beginning to creep into everyday life, music was dominated by the rising voices of pop legends, and a new generation was growing up in an era marked by both optimism and uncertainty. Somewhere in the midst of it all, a small but significant piece of history was being minted, one that would take decades to be recognized for its true value. The Philadelphia Mint was bustling that year, producing coins to fuel the ever-expanding American economy. Among the many coins struck, the Roosevelt dime continued its long-standing presence. First introduced in 1946 to honor the beloved President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the dime had become a familiar sight in the hands of every American, symbolizing strength, perseverance, and progress. Yet within the millions of dimes produced in 1985, a tiny fraction held a secret that would one day capture the attention of collectors worldwide. The 1985 P. Roosevelt dime seemed, at first glance, like any other. It bore Roosevelt's determined profile, facing left, with the simple word "Liberty" arching beside him, and the motto, "In God We Trust," faithfully inscribed below his chin. The date, of course, was prominent, 1985. And just above the date, there sat the P Mint mark, a simple letter representing the Philadelphia Mint. It was a design Americans had seen 1,000 times over, but something rare had slipped through the cracks. During production, a very small number of dimes were minted with a remarkable error, either due to die fatigue, misalignment, or striking anomalies, that would later make them worth more than anyone could have imagined. Some featured a rare off-center strike, while others showcased subtle but important design variations, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. As the coins circulated, these tiny errors went unnoticed, blending seamlessly with ordinary dimes, rattling around in cash registers, vending machines, and pockets for decades. It wasn't until keen-eyed collectors began reviewing their collections more meticulously in the late 1990s and early 2000s that these anomalies began to surface. The discovery sent a ripple through the numismatic community. Dealers started whispering about 1985 P dimes with unusual features, and collectors began scouring their coin rolls, hoping to stumble upon one of these hidden treasures. The excitement was palpable. After all, the idea that a simple dime, an everyday coin, could fetch a fortune was almost too incredible to believe. Stories emerged of lucky individuals who found these rare dimes purely by chance. One man in Florida, sorting through a jar of old coins inherited from his grandfather, noticed something strange about one of the dimes. The date looked slightly shifted, the rim seemed oddly shaped. Intrigued, he sent it off for grading. The results came back confirming it was a rare error variety, preserved in stunning mint state condition. That small discovery would soon change his life forever. The 1985 P. Roosevelt dime became a symbol of hope for collectors, proof that treasures could still be found, hiding in the most ordinary places. As more examples were submitted to grading agencies, it became clear that these errors were exceptionally scarce. High-grade specimens, untouched by circulation, were even rarer. Those dimes that survived with strong strikes, brilliant luster, and few handling marks were prized above all. Over time, the value of the 1985 P dime climbed steadily. It wasn't just about the error or the minting flaw, it was about the story each coin carried. Every tiny imperfection, every unusual strike told a tale of how that coin slipped past layers of quality control in one of the most sophisticated mints in the world. It was a testament to the unpredictability of minting and a reminder that even in systems built for precision, accidents, and wonders could still happen. Collectors and investors alike began to chase the 1985 P dimes, fueling a surge in demand that only added to the coin's mystique. Auction houses started listing these dimes with increasing fanfare, showcasing them as centerpiece items in major coin sales. As the years passed, the best examples, those in near-perfect MS-68 or higher, became almost impossible to find. And with scarcity, the value skyrocketed. There are moments when history, luck, and craftsmanship collide in the smallest, most unassuming ways. And sometimes, that collision results in a tiny, shining piece of metal that turns into a legend. Such is the case with the 1985 P. Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it might seem like any other dime you'd find in your pocket change. It's small, familiar, and easy to overlook. But behind its ordinary appearance lies a story that would make any collector's heart race and eyes widen with wonder. The year 1985 was a unique time in America. It was the middle of Ronald Reagan's presidency, a period defined by economic recovery, technological advancements, and a renewed sense of national pride. MTV was changing the music world, blockbuster movies were filling theaters, and personal computers were beginning their slow invasion into American households. Amidst all this change, the United States Mint continued its steady, reliable work, producing the coins that kept America's economy moving. Among the millions of dimes struck that year at the Philadelphia Mint, a few anomalies slipped through, anomalies that would one day capture the imagination of numismatists around the globe. These were not just any mistakes. They were extraordinary errors, the kind that turn a 10-cent piece into a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1985 P. Roosevelt dime is notable for a series of rare minting errors that have become the stuff of legend. Some examples show extraordinary die breaks, filled letters, weak strikes, and, most famously, the missing P mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint had only started using a P mint mark on dimes in 1980, so it was still a relatively new practice. By 1985, it was standard, expected, every Philadelphia struck dime should have proudly borne its P. When even a single dime was struck without it, it became a numismatic curiosity. But when collectors realized that a few 1985 dimes existed with a range of striking errors, they began paying attention. The Roosevelt dime itself had long been a fixture of American coinage by 1985. Introduced in 1946, the design honored President Franklin D. Roosevelt not only for his leadership during critical periods in American history but also for his role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. The obverse of the dime, designed by John R. Sinek, features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, his features rendered with a dignified realism. The reverse is adorned with a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength and independence. In 1985, the design remained unchanged, but the sheer volume of coins produced inevitably led to imperfections. Most errors are quickly caught and melted down, but a few escape into the world. And those few are what make the hunt so exciting. The Philadelphia Mint that year was a bustling hub of production. With millions of dimes needed to support commerce, speed was essential. Dies wore out, equipment faltered, and sometimes quality control missed tiny defects. These are the cracks through which legends slip. For collectors, finding a 1985 P dime with a rare error is like finding buried treasure. And for one exceptional variety, the missing P mint mark combined with a superb strike and untouched surfaces, the value has skyrocketed beyond belief. When certified by leading grading companies like PCGS or NGC, these coins can achieve astonishing prices at auction, leaving bidders breathless and collectors dreaming of the day they might find one tucked away in an old jar or forgotten bankroll. Collectors prize not just the errors but also high-grade examples of the 1985 P dime. Coins that show a full torch on the reverse, known as full torch or FT designation, command a premium. In a sea of billions of coins, finding one with perfect details, blazing luster, and no signs of wear is a feat. Add an error into that mix, and you've struck numismatic gold. The mystique surrounding the 1985 P dime continues to grow because so many are still out there, undiscovered. It's a reminder that hidden treasures are not just locked away in museums or high-end collections. Sometimes they're sitting quietly in a forgotten coin jar, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a little luck to find them. Today, dedicated collectors often recount tales of their greatest finds. There's the story of a man who, while sorting through his grandfather's old change collection, stumbled upon a 1985 P dime with a nearly perfect strike and no mint mark, a coin later valued at over 6 figures. Another tale tells of a woman who purchased an entire bank box of dimes, meticulously searching coin by coin until she uncovered a gem-quality error, leading to one of the highest auction prices ever recorded for the year. Authentication and certification remain critical steps in confirming the value of such coins. A professional appraisal ensures that errors are genuine and not the result of post-mint damage. Serious collectors know that provenance, certification, and condition can mean the difference between an interesting coin and a life-changing payday, and that's what brings us to the heart of the excitement. One 1985 P. Roosevelt dime, exhibiting a perfect storm of rarity, quality, and historical intrigue, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $185,000. A tiny piece of metal once worth a mere 10 cents now stands as a shining beacon for collectors everywhere, proof that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding right under our noses.